Hey everybody, we are live and I am on with, yeah, that's right. She's getting her angle down. Her
right
angle
there.
How you doing? And very glad to be here with her on this Sunday as I continue to say, what else is he doing? He's also at the same time
very glad to be here.
Calibrating this thing. Other voice, which is the other me in another dimension, which is another
multiverse.
The multiverse. That's right. The multiverse Zen. That's it. The multiverse Zen and Jen. Jessica. So Zen and Jess. So anyway,
I'm sure I'm named Jennifer in some other world. As many times as I've been called that.
Yeah. How can you verify that?
I just the fact that I've been called Jennifer so many times in my life, it's probably the truth.
That actually makes a lot of sense. And Supergirl comes on. Does Supergirl come on tonight again still?
I think it's on Sundays. It's Sundays.
Weird. It's like I can't find it anymore. Okay, so
it's actually not. It completely ends April of next year. That's the final season, final episode, April.
Ooh. Okay.
I know you're sad.
I am very sad. I'll tell you why. Because one of the most, to me, iconic images ever in television was when Supergirl saved the plane to open up the pilot that I wasn't looking for, and I'll just show the sequence of photographs so you can see what I mean, because it was so fucking cool. I mean, folks, for me personally, over the 58 years of my life, when I was 6 years old, I fell in love with Wonder Woman. That was the kind of one I wanted to marry. She was, and then we get these messages that women aren't supposed to look like that. I'm thinking, what's wrong with her? Okay, she looks obviously strong. There's nothing wrong with that, right? And we've seen Wonder Woman came up, and I was like really excited for Linda Carter, but they watered her down and they made her a cheerleader. And then Supergirl in all her iterations with Helen Slater, who actually had the pleasure of meeting, very nice lady. Same thing, okay? And there was the other, I mean, I can go on and on and on with how super women have been.
And then came Xena.
Thank you. Have been watered down through history. And in Supergirl, we get what I contend was a great start to a different approach, if you will. And that approach was to basically show a woman doing something strong as a normal course of her life and not try to water it down. And that was made quite clear in the pilot of Supergirl, which was the original first episode when she was working for Callista Flockhart and working with McCann Brooks. And that's when she was, as you can see in these photographs, saving this actually very large 767. And photographs like Kara saves a plane from crashing first, and then right there. And that was her first flight scene, as it is explained on YouTube. And we can't show the scene for copyright reasons, but you can basically see that what I'm talking about here, and where there's this other one, and it turned out that see, there it is. You see her at the bottom of it. You see the plane coming down. You see that, folks. I don't know if you can see that yet or not, but you can see that's coming down, and she's obviously holding this plane.
Yeah, the Supergirl's had a journey and a half to be on TV, because it started on CBS, it died on CBS, and then it got moved over to the CW, which was really, really odd, because it was one of those weird things, like they brought it into it should have always been on the CW, because it was part of the Arrowverse. And they really made it part of the Arrowverse. But I'm glad they had her over there, because they did the basically as much as they could of their own in-game with the meta crisis that they had, their Crisis on Infinite Earths that they did. And Supergirl was such a big part of that. And Supergirl, I can't remember the actress's name who plays her. I just blanked on it.
Melissa Benoist?
Yes.
Or
Melissa
as I call her, I call her, you're so vain.
So
I don't know that way because she played on Broadway. She played the singer of that song,
Carly Simon,
in a fantastic. Well, is it Carly Simon that was?
Yeah.
Or who was it?
About James Taylor.
Okay, but she sang an incredible version of her songs. I'm not sure if it's Carly Simon though. I think it's the other singer that I'm thinking about. And the best way for me to figure that out is to go to the internet, folks.
Carly Simon is who wrote it and sung it.
Right. Maybe the wrong song. Okay. Melissa Broadway, New York. Okay. And then we find that we find Gallery Melissa, actress. There we go. Actress. Don't worry, folks. In the interest of time, we're going to find it in super fast time. And no. Google never gives you exactly what you're looking for. It knows doggone well we're looking for Melissa Benoist. Yeah, here it is. She's known for Carole King. She took the role of Carole King in the long-running musical. All right. Yes. By the same.
Was it Carole King?
It was Carole King. Yes. You said Carole.
Well,
King.
You're so vain was Carly Simon.
I said I was wrong. I was wrong. I love that. That's okay. She made her Broadway, but here it is, according to Playbill, because she was a Glee alum, as you remember. But she played Carole King in as they love to say, long running, right? And it was, but long running play 2 years ago that I wanted to go to New York and see, but I could never quite line up, to see that. Well,
the thing with her in the I keep calling it Meta Crisis. I don't know why, but the Crisis on Infinite Earths is she was far and away the more interesting character in comparison to, like, say, Batwoman. And that, and because Batwoman, Ruby Rose just acted kind of like disinterested and didn't want to be there, and she didn't because she left. Yeah. But Melissa Benoist has a really good quality about her where she comes across as genuine, and that's the thing that you need for Supergirl. So she was really good at that. I have not.
I met somebody who had, and I've tried to get in, but whatever. But however, for me, this is like the death of the kind of Supergirl that I thought we were going to get more of, because they kept watering it down. And in honor of what I'm talking about, I actually recalled this video that I made some months ago about how they actually had Supergirl showing muscles. And, this is briefly what I said.
Bionic Woman with Lindsay Wagner, but once again, we were presented with a skinny female character. This habit continued on through the 70s, the 80s with different female superhero characters. I thought we were going to get something new in Bionic Woman, which came out in 2007, lasted for only one season.
I don't know if you remember that or not. I loved it.
Oh, I remember that.
Woman had a more athletic tone than
season.
Well, remember they did. Was it a Wonder Woman TV series that they were going to have? And it was the same network as Bionic Woman on NBC, and it died like within one episode.
Muscle tone or biceps.
Nobody cared about it.
I did.
So we went all throughout modern history of pop culture without on television.
And I think
a true presentation of a woman who was a female superhero.
No.
With muscles.
Well, she doesn't have superpowers. Agent Carter never had superpowers. She was a regular chick.
At 8:40 p.m. approximately, Eastern Standard Time.
See, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. See?
Melissa Benoist,
right there,
who plays Supergirl, hoisted over her head
Concrete.
A kind of representation of a portion of a building that had fallen off that she had caught in midair to save a group of people from being killed.
Yeah, that's it. So
and
I'll stop
this
it right
picture
there.
of her,
that's my point.
Shows her.
That's precisely my point, folks. Okay, and the real issue for me is that they didn't do anything much to make her super, and it was like they were afraid of her being, in my view, okay, a powerful woman. And that's, look, that's what I've driven for ever since I was 6 years old. It's like, just show that. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. And the image that I grew up with was that women were supposed to be weak, especially if they were white, okay? And I mean, I'm just being really blunt here. And that was driven home a lot, and it was cheek by jowl with how women were treated in the workplace, domestic violence issues, and everything else, okay? And women should be able to defend herself. And so it's vitally important to me that women are shown as being strong and able to defend themselves and take care of themselves in culture.
And that's what a lot of people had. Like Joss Whedon's whole point of Buffy was to kind of get rid of that stereotype with it. And the thing with like what they did, say with, I'll come back to Ruby Rose, because Ruby Rose was, they made all these smirky remarks about the suit and how it'd be perfect once a woman could be in it. But they completely cast against what Kate Kane looks like. Kate Kane is a tall, built woman, like built, like boom, and she's tall, she's strong. And they cast Ruby Rose because she had a name and literally had no physique for it, was short, but she was this look and a name and carried, look, she's a lesbian and she's got a name attached to that. Let's put her in that suit. And it's like, what happened? The show tanked. And no one bought her as Batwoman because you can't buy her, no offense to her. She is who she is. I'm not slamming her body shape. But when you're casting for that role, you need a woman like Zoe Bell that can, fit in that suit and make you believe she can kick your ass. And that was never the case there. She's way too tiny. And it's what is wrong with casting of the person for what they look, how they should look in terms of that. That is not a bad thing. It's believability, even though it's science fiction or fantasy. You need to, it sucks because it's just, you're pushing something wrong on people in terms of that. Kate Kane is a tall, badass ex-military officer who can kick your butt.
Okay.
And it's just ridiculous.
Go ahead.
No, I
want to make sure that, oh yeah. And I want to make sure that we get in our guests. Look at this. David Compton. He's never been here before. Hey, Mr. Z, I feel you're going to comment about Wonder Woman or Super because I was a Superman fan when I was a kid, and still to this day, he's 63. So, hey, thanks for commenting. Thank you, and thanks for commenting. And so before we turn away from Supergirl to talk about that universe thing, I am not happy that they're canceling the show after season 6. And I'll take you through the history of it, okay, folks? For me, it was not just that. It was also the fact that, look, they had they had an uncelebrated, and there's been a little group of us that have gotten together since then, interracial romance between Supergirl and McCad Brooks, and they wrote it. They quite literally listened to this little rabble, as I call it, that's on a platform that really doesn't represent the entire country, and being honest, and they got bullied by them, and they took him out. I'm saying, well, he's not right for it. And then even before that, Brooks was bashed for being the first black Jimmy Olsen. All right, and so he actually got a lot of personal abuse for that, which I thought was absolutely crummy. and just totally, ridiculous. But he, as he told me, he's as he would say, it is what it is. But I think the total of what he was going through caused him rather to not want to be a part of it as much. And one person, I'm not going to say this person's name, but this person had a very big role still has a very big role in the Supergirl universe. And I mean, as a producer, said to me at Comic-Con that they felt that McCad was, quote, whining too much, which I thought, and I'm just sorry, McCad, that's, I don't agree with that, because I think that McCad was in a situation where he was sort of a token, and they didn't quite know how to deal with how he wanted his character to be portrayed as a black man versus what they were after. And he wanted to be wanted to have a more heroic role. Now, as my other friend told me, he had to remember it wasn't about him. But I do think McCad has a really great point. Look, and this came before George Floyd, all right? And we still have the problem of a massive problem of racism that's structural. And rather than say, hey, look, show a black man, as in the same way we're talking about women, okay? Instead of doing that, they didn't. And in McCad's case, he didn't like it. Oh, by the way, look at this. Thank you, David, very much.
Oh, thank you, David.
Yeah. So hey, that's hers and Zennie62 Media's. So yeah, there you go. It's on top of what she was getting. So anyway, nice. Yeah.
But yeah, I know, I totally understand that too. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous how they cram characters in, and then they don't know what to do with them, or they don't know how to write for the actor. They put an actor in the role that, they have discussions before they do this. They have discussions before they cast people and put them on screen. And it's kind of ridiculous. Like The Walking Dead's had a lot of this, because another comic book show where a lot of people, eventually it got better. But a lot of people were very angry about the fact of how they killed off, like literally, oh, you're black on The Walking Dead, you're going to die. You're going to die. It's going to happen within like 3 days, you're going to be dead. Yeah. And they finally, like with Lenny James's character, Morgan, they've got an icon now out of him. They've made a main character, and he's the face of Fear the Walking Dead now. And then you've, I just blinked on his name, but you've got a lot of diversity now in the shows, and it's more realistic, and they're not tokenized characters. They actually, they actually have kept them around. So it's getting better. But my issue is, how the person is thinking this role is going to go. Why cast them if you know it's going to be an issue? If you don't want to have them in this way, don't bring them in, because it's just going to make issues for everybody, and it's going to harm the show. And that's what happens. And it frustrates me, because the business, how people are, how actors are. Actors take the roles to heart. You're taking iconic roles like Jimmy Olsen, and you're taking iconic roles like, Batwoman or Rick Grimes or Harley Quinn. And these are names. People know these characters, and if you put somebody in that role, they're going to take it seriously if they're a good actor, and they're going to want to make it right. And they're not going to, they know that you're doing a disservice to the history. So that to me is stupid. I mean, that's bad. That's bad show running.
I completely agree. And I met the showrunner, by the way. How to get him here? Mark Guggenheim. Introduced to me by Blake Neely, who's done all the music for the DC universe, from Supergirl, Flash. Before that, I've interviewed him 4 times, I guess. But anyway, we come to, I think, the next subject of equal importance, and that one that you have the ultimate expertise on, and that's
DC universe.
Jessica, what the heck is going on with all this stuff?
So DC universe, was a great idea that I don't know what they were thinking, why they tweaked what they tweaked and changed what they changed. But basically it went from, we're going to be the media experience for DC. We're going to give you digital comics. We're going to give you all of our animation that we've done. We're going to give you stuff that's really rare, like the live action League of Superheroes and the live action The Spirit, original Spirit with oh man, today my brain is just dead. The guy that played Flash Gordon.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Flash.
But Sam Jones, thank you, Brain.
Sam Jones. Yes, Sam Jones.
So Sam Jones, they had that live action pilot that he did as the Spirit. They had The Flash. They had all of these great series on there. They had, except for the Batman TV series, the live action. They did not have that, which was a bummer. But all this stuff in the original series, like Doom Patrol, Swamp Thing, Harley Quinn, the animated series, which is now streaming on HBO Max. They had all this stuff, and it was relatively cheap. It was like $8 a month for all of this, and you got all the access for it. But the problem was that they didn't have, I guess the money was coming in like they wanted. I don't know. I can't speak to that really, but something started happening, and they didn't, DC Universe wasn't getting what they were looking for out of this. DC wasn't getting what they wanted. So it what kind of started this downward spiral for them and really pissed me off was they canceled Swamp Thing after not, it hadn't even premiered yet. And they were like, sorry, we're not going to make any more. And the reason for that was they lost their tax credits for where they were filming. That they pulled that. It wasn't Vancouver. It was, I want to say it was New Orleans area in Louisiana. But anyway, the tax credits went away. The state decided to stop that. So they're like, sorry, we're not going to film this anymore.
Well, North Carolina did that too. That's stupid.
Yeah, it's really stupid. And so Swamp Thing is one of my favorite DC characters in that whole universe because it's dark, it's creepy, it's supernatural. And my friend Derek Mears is Swamp Thing. He plays him. And the version of Swamp Thing that he created was absolutely beautiful. And he was my Swamp Thing. He was the Alan Moore looking, beautiful red eyes, just gorgeous costume. Derek brought like a beautiful soul to it. He had a great voice for it. They just did a fantastic job, and it was already canceled the day it came on. So what happened was I joined DC Universe for Swamp Thing because I wanted to see it, and it is amazingly good. And it's body horror to the nth degree. It's like if David Cronenberg made a comic book series. That's what you've got. They do an homage to the head spider from The Thing in like the first episode, like that kind of creepy stuff. So what happened now is because DC Universe is dying. That's nice of you, David. Thank you.
Yeah, we like money. Absolutely.
So now that the entire thing is dying, they're moving the first season to CW, which I think is a bad idea because they're also moving other stuff from the DC universe to HBO Max. HBO Max is way more money, way more open to giving you carte blanche to do what you want. It's HBO. You want to have a tree banging a chick, you can go for it. It's HBO. We don't care. So they're moving Harley Quinn to HBO Max. Doom Patrol is going to HBO Max. Basically, everything from the DC Universe hold of original series is going over there, other than Stargirl, who I think is going to the CW, along with Swamp Thing, which is a body horror, dark show, which to me that would go to HBO Max. and they would be able to do whatever they wanted. It could go completely dark, NC-17, creepy body horror everywhere. So DC Universe is basically going away in terms of what you think it is. It is going to be comic books. So it's basically going to be Comixology DC only. And you'll be able to pay a monthly fee and have access to this whole giant comic book library, which is nice. But I really like the fact that they had original shows on there. Those all went away now. They're all gone. They had talk shows about the comic book industry, about DC Comics, about the DC Universe. They're all gone. Now all of the original series are getting spread to the wind. And basically it's going to be left is I think they're putting their eggs in the basket of that DC fandom, where they can do like their one weekend special event things that way and get their stuff out there that. But right now DC Universe is becoming.
Did you watch that?
I did. I really liked the fandom thing. I really dug it. David, you are just awesome. I really liked the fandom thing. I liked it way better than not New York Comic Con, but San Diego Comic Con, because it allowed fans to talk. It had a chat within it, and you were able to watch these things and just take part in it. And they also replayed things. And they told you, like you can rewatch the Suicide Squad at this time and yada, yada. I really loved seeing the Black Adam stuff too, that Dwayne Johnson brought out. That was fantastic. So, but yeah, that's what's happening with DC Universe.
I gotta ask, what's up with this stuff this is the other reason why I didn't stop watching Supergirl. But it's, they can't quite figure out what to do with Kara, who, as far as I'm concerned, should have been married to Jimmy Olsen by now. That's just me, okay? But instead, they mixed her up with Mon-El, and I couldn't stand Mon-El, and they ended up getting married in real life and having a kid. Very happy for them in real life.
Yeah, apparently they had a chemistry.
And then it's like, this dude, and I'm like, the fuck is going on here? It's like all these characters, and then Lena Luthor, who the actress I love, and then there's been John Cryer as Lex Luthor, and and then of course there is the consistently steady, ever reliable, always there person who you've got to really, really massively take your hat off to, and that man is David Harewood, who has played on Supergirl since the beginning.
Is he the Martian Manhunter?
He is. That's correct. He is one in the same. And he's not only that, he was the man who was also rumored to be the next James Bond, although that's now way down.
I think that's going to be that's going to end up being Bane, aka Tom Hardy.
Idris Elba. I'm still.
I would be down with that. Don't get me wrong. I would be down with the Idris Elba.
That would be it, because it's kind of like, yeah, Tom Hardy's like, yeah, whatever, but Elba, Idris, heck yeah, I mean, all kinds of possibilities for the storyline and everything. I know we're in a era of what we call ethnic appropriation and everything else, but I still think it would be fun to see a black James Bond, because a lot of the world still doesn't, particularly in America, have its mind particularly wrapped around the fact that a black guy can speak a British accent. So
where have they been?
oh boy, okay.
So I actually have to jump here in a couple minutes, but I did want to bring up something that I absolutely love. So if you guys aren't watching it, The Boys on Amazon Prime is one of the best comic book adaptations ever. And what's fantastic about this show, especially this second season, is the fact that they are pulling no punches and are taking on the fact that white supremacy and Nazism is becoming highly obvious and prevalent in America right now, to the point that it is personified in two of the characters in the show who are now an item. And it's basically the epitome of spoilers, I guess, here, guys, but the epitome of Americanism and, you know, the whole
Americana. America number one.
Like this whole nationalism thing that's going on in this country is personified by this character called Homelander in the show. He is your perfect Aryan blonde Superman. That's who he's based off of. And he's got an American flag as his cape. I'm sorry?
It sounds like Superman gone bad or something.
He totally is. He's crazy. He's insane. He is a lunatic. And he's played by this guy that is, his name's Anthony. That guy right there. Anthony Starr is freaking amazing. He's Australian and he is amazing. He has great crazy eye and he epitomizes this character. And so he is like your I am the best, I am perfect, I'm a god bad guy. And he is the epitome of nationalism right there.
Oh, God.
So they have a new character on the show that they've tweaked it from a male character, I believe, in the comic book to a female, and her name is Stormfront. And Stormfront, you find out, no, that is not her. That is the female. She's amazing. This is the original trailer for the first season. You're not going to see Stormfront in there.
Oh, okay.
So Stormfront is spoiler alert, you find out things about Stormfront and they end up becoming an item. And it is the personification of the white nationalists.
Hi, I'm Stormfront.
Oh,
there
I think I just found her.
Yeah. So the white nationalists in this country,
that girl.
her, and Nazis.
Shocking.
Yeah, coming together and this meeting of the two, and they're the bad guys.
Oh my Lord.
And it is just the best. They don't give a crap about who they're offending. They're going to call it out, and it is so overt and well done.
Wait. Time out. Are you saying as a black person I shouldn't watch this because I'll be offended?
You would love it.
Oh, okay.
Because it's calling out the hypocrisy of everything. It is super good, and it's calling out the complete hypocrisy of it. There's a character in a black character in this called Mother's Milk, and he's like the most even-tempered and decent of the bunch, and he's one of the strongest as well. But it's just such a great show, and it's so over the top, and it just does not give a damn who it offends in terms of like your mom and apple pie. Boo, 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 boo. It doesn't care. It's calling out. See, that's Mother's Milk. He's great. But it's such a good show.
God. So what?
And he's in it too.
Do you know anything about who came up with this?
This is Garth Ennis. Garth Ennis is one of the most subversive, amazing comic book creators in the world. He did Preacher. Preacher was a Garth Ennis. This is actually, I think, the crew behind Preacher helped make this. Eric Kripke, who is the guy who made Supernatural, is one of the guys that made this, helped make this happen. It is fantastic. And it's one of the reasons you should get Amazon Prime.
I've got Amazon Prime. I need to shift over and watch.
You really do. But I'm just going to warn you. They do not care what they do on screen.
What do you mean?
Blood, guts, just ridiculous things. People die. It's gross. They do not give a damn. And that's the best thing about it.
Just for shock value, is it?
It's a comic book show, and they just don't care. It's not a racist show, but they have racism in it, and they have bigotry in it, and they call it out.
Okay.
And it's great because the most racist and bigoted person is this asshole named Homelander, whose facade is I'm great. I'm a good guy and I'm going to protect you and yours. And then the back end, he's like, that's fucking, like it's fantastic. And the same with Stormfront. She's supposed to be the representation of the feminist movement and all of these little, social justice warrior types that are, I'm a girl and I'm good and blah, blah, blah. And then on the back end, she's a Nazi. Because she's the representation of these people that take these causes that have absolutely nothing to do with them. Like they have no, but they act like
they have no skin in the game.
They've got no skin in the game, but they'll go online and say how, this is, I'm offended for you. And it's like, well then, but yeah, I'm glad that you want to be, but
it's like certain journalists, and I say this on the day that the LA Times finally admits their decades of racism, but it's like the white journalist types that always say, hey, I'm not racist, but then the first thing that they do is they'll call out somebody black who's in an elected official position, and they'll point out that person as corrupt, but if a person is white in the same position, they'll turn a blind eye. Stuff like that.
Well, it's also just the
but then they'll call out racism as racism is like obvious. Like,
well, it's the hypocrisy of it. Like there's types that actually that say that they're like what you just said. They want to be a proponent of racial equality, but they get pissed off. And this is little white girl online. She's mad because I get that they've got this black family on this show for like Junior Baker, one of those kid baker shows, right? Like Hell's Kitchen Light for kids or whatever. And this actually happened. And they actually said, I saw this on a tweet. I'm glad that they're representing black people, but did they have to go to the affluent black people? Why aren't they representing the people in the poor areas? Why can't they look at her house?
Hey, show you something ironic about the whole thing is going way back when I was a volunteer for Dianne Feinstein for governor. She's now a great senator of California. We were in a room. This guy named Lowell was black, got after me because I had the idea of her appearing on the Cosby Show episode, which I thought would reach us. And he didn't think that the Cosby Show was representative of Black America, and he's black. And I'm like, what? Are we supposed to be poor and downtrodden all the time?
See, that's the thing that I'm like, I told her, I'm like, what? I tweeted back, what is wrong with showing?
Here's the one
successful family.
Zennie62.
What is wrong with showing a successful family? Why do they have to be the downtrodden, like you said? What is wrong with this? They've worked harder than probably anyone else to get to here.
I beg of everybody out there, dump Twitter, get off Jack's platform, okay? Get on our platform, get on the Zennie62. We'll feature you. Every platform city. I'm tired of Twitter and Facebook.
The whole point of it though is that's what
thunder. I'm just like
no, and that's what's so funny about Stormfront is she's representing that mentality, and also the she's taken hold of this mentality of women can do no wrong. Like how these women have taken over the Me Too movement, like Amber Heard, for example. She's representative of the ones that are taking this and using it
for
their own gain. And then you turn around and find out that she's actually a Nazi.
You didn't mean Amber Heard there. You meant the character.
I meant Amber Heard.
Don't sue us. We're not just
Amber Heard.
But hey, it's like, so I gotta ask you, the future of DC, is it on good ground, mushy ground, or is the ground breaking?
Well, I don't see, the thing that's kind of insane to me is the fact that they just announced again that even after all the stuff that they've already shot and all the money they've already funneled into it, Justice League is getting more reshoots. for this Zack Snyder cut.
Yeah.
They're paying for more to be put into this. And to me, that's kind of insane, considering they've already put in the money to get Joss Whedon in there to do it. We've already got that release. Now they're doing a recut with Snyder that they're paying and funneling money into. And now they're doing more reshoots to add to it.
Failure.
Now I was hopeful, and now that I know that they're having to do more reshoots to it, do they think enough people are going to care to pay for HBO Max to get that?
No, not at all. They're not going to care. And the problem with the Justice League as it's structured is, unlike the Avengers, which has its
rushed it so much.
Its storyline roots the Avengers in real life concerns regarding terrorism.
Right.
The Avengers doesn't have anything. Excuse me. The Justice League doesn't have anything for a person like my mom to grab hold of, because I try to get my mom to watch these and she'll say, well, basically, how is this relevant to my life? Or how there's no metaphor for her to.
Well, they rushed it so much that they completely just skipped over, what the thing with Marvel is they spent 10 years of buildup and creating the characters and having each character represented. What did DC do?
But that gives me another answer. That gives me another question to ask. Shouldn't DC in this, I hate the term dystopian because I don't like to look at the world that way, but
call a spade a spade.
Here's why I don't like that. Okay. Because real quick, I come from a generation where we fixed things and we did engineering, and now everybody's just kind of like, well, it is what it is, which is a term that I hate, but it's a center part of our culture now. It's like, well, you don't want to fix anything. So my point is that in all of this, we have the Justice League, which doesn't really seem to get the fact that we're in those times. You would think they would try to make storylines around it.
You would think that they would actually, with Justice League, they've already put all their eggs in the Apocalypse basket or Darkseid basket. I keep saying Apocalypse, it's Darkseid. Which is fine.
He's an awful villain.
Well, that's all they have. I mean, they chose that one.
They ought to kill him off, and you know what? They ought to put some like 58-year-old bald black guy who thinks he's a brainiac and actually comes up with something to, harm the world. And he's really trying to save the world. The same
Brainiacs and Krypton. They
want an earth-bound Brainiac that looks like this. Okay, so, I'm just kidding.
I like Gotham. I like some of Gotham. I would have loved to have had a really good Solomon Grundy. I would have loved to have an actual decent Legends of Tomorrow that actually gave us the offshoot characters of the DC universe, but we didn't get that. Who knows?
Oh no!
Who knows what's going to happen to the Flash at this point?
Save Grant!
Grant is. They've already done their meta. I keep saying meta crisis. The Crisis on Infinite Earths thing where Grant lives in his own little pocket universe on CW, and Ezra Miller is your Flash for the movies. They've already.
I'm sorry,
but they are doing a Flash movie, and I have to point this out really quickly because I have to jump. But the Flash movie, I have high hopes for because the team, brother and sister behind it, are making it.
You mean It the movie?
It the movie, yes. The Machete, Barbara and Muschietti. It.
Whoa!
Yes, they are doing it. Barbara Muschietti and.
No, they're not doing it, folks. They did it. Now they're doing it.
The Flash.
Right.
Yes, they did Mama too. Mama, which is another movie. If you haven't seen Mama, fantastic horror film.
Mom, I have not seen that.
Mama is a great horror film, and it will make you cry, but it's also super good. But I have to jump, guys. Thank you so much.
The show, because this show was to present the great works and thought of Zennie62 Media VIP Entertainment vlogger here. David asks, yeah, that's right. David asks, What about Marvel Comics?
We'll come back in next week for Marvel Comics, or in a few days, because I actually do have stuff to talk about Marvel. Hellstorm is coming to Hulu. I'm really, really excited about that because it's more dark Marvel. It's they're the daughter and son of Satan in the Marvel universe that are the lead characters in that show. And that's coming to Hulu, and that's going to open up a door to a lot of the darker aspects. So.
Now you can point down, Jessica. There's your. That's her. She's covered Comic-Con many years and
a long time.
Most recently interviewed the director of Bill and Ted's.
Excellent. Well, Bill and Ted Face the Music, but upcoming in the next 2 days, because it's going to finally be out of embargo, you will be hearing my interview with Darren Lynn Boozman, the man who directed Saw, for his new film, Death of Me.
Do you realize I've never seen a Saw movie in its entirety? But I got to say, folks, in this dangerous world we're in of rapidly passing by news and everything, go to oaklandnewsnow.com, okay? And you will see the blog post that presents the video blog of her interview with the director of Bill and Ted Face the Music. So I want to keep that there because that's an amazing get. And
he also directed Galaxy Quest.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, absolutely. So but what we're doing here, folks, is we are taking on a different way of treating content, which I'm not going to take a lot of time to explain here out of respect for my friend's time. I will only say we'll be back later, and subscribe to Zennie62 on YouTube. And David, we will have
Marvel.
We will have Marvel discussions, and we'll even talk about Godzilla versus Kong. Godzilla
someday.
When?
David, if you want to check out some really cool Marvel content, you can check out Zennie62. I think we have discussions on there as well. And I also have another, my site on YouTube, and also my webpage, Fangirl. Yeah, Fangirl Magazine, fangirlmag.com. Fangirl Magazine on YouTube has a lot of stuff, including a bunch of Doctor Who stuff, if you're a Doctor Who fan. And I have interviews with a bunch of people on there as well, including Benedict Cumberbatch, who is Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. So there you go, folks.
Yes.
62 YouTube and Fangirl Mag YouTube. You can catch her both ways. So there you go. How's it working?
Sounds horrible.
You guys got to having clean air?
Oh, we have clean air, and it's so nice, and it's raining. It rained, so it was fantastic.
And thank you for your investments. Thank you very much, Mr. Compton. It keeps us going.
Yeah, if it gives you any idea of how much I love the Doctor, there you go.
I could not tell. I should have something like that. I had my first iPhone. I had the Star Trek logo on the back of it, and I had it burned in at TechCrunch.
Oh wow!
Yeah. It was really, really cool. I have a video on that too.
This is my save screen. If you can tell, I love me some Gene Wilder.
Oh my God! So, folks, we're off. We'll see you later. Stick around.
Bye, guys.
All right. See you.